Everyone, my name is Renee Long, a social media specialist for the American College of Healthcare Sciences. And here with me today at the NAHA 2014 conference is Lora Cantele, an ACHS graduate from our aromatherapy department. So Lora is the editor of the International Journal of Professional Holistic Aromatherapy, and she has also just written a wonderful new book, which she will talk about today. She is also the owner of Enhancements Aromatherapy, and she's just made a lovely career for herself as a registered aromatherapist. So welcome, Lora.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you. So my first question for you is, how have you used your ACHS education to develop a career?
Wow, that's a long story. You know what? When I first got inspired to use the essential oils, it was through my my kind of serendipitous meeting with Chris Reed, and so I started. I was selling her products, and I really wanted to legitimize the work that I was doing, because people kind of looked at what I was doing in the rural area I was in outside Chicago, and I was kind of considered the witch of Woodstock. It was like, it's all voodoo. So I looked at the time it was Australasian College and American College, and so at the time I looked at the college and I thought this would be the best school for me, because it would really give me a solid foundation, and there was room to grow within the program and learn so much more. So since graduating, it's funny because my career path actually started taking off after the summer school program that I did in France.
Wonderful.
We had Doreen Peterson there and Len and Shirley Price, and we had some wonderful programming with the harvesting and the distillation. And it was through that class that I met Shirley and Len. And Shirley had introduced us to Swiss reflex therapy as just a brief introduction as part of the curriculum during the summer school. And so I invited Len and Shirley to come back to the U.S. And Len did a course in aromatherapeutic chemistry, and Shirley taught Swiss reflex therapy. And at the end of that, Shirley asked me for my CV and was impressed with the education that I had received, and asked me if I would consider teaching for their school in England.
Wonderful.
So that's how that got started. So I eventually started teaching for what was the Penny Price Academy, run by her daughter. And I set up a satellite school in Chicago, and I taught for a few years, and it just kind of evolved from there. I joined I was a member of NAHA, and I also joined the Alliance of International Aromatherapists. And when I got really involved at the AIA, and later became president, I kind of had my hands in a few committees, and the biggest committee to me that was close to my heart was education, because I'm all for education. And so I was one of the people that helped to develop the American standard for clinical level curriculum in aromatherapy. And when my time at AIA was done, because I was on the board for 6 years, I really felt like I still wanted to serve in that capacity. And thankfully my connection to Penny Price and Shirley Price led me to travel back and forth to England. And then I started, you get the bug, you get hungry. I started going to conferences all over the world. And so with that network that I built with all these amazing educators and researchers and the scientists I was meeting, I thought, I really need to do something with this. And so that's what led me to ultimately creating the IJPHA, which is a peer-reviewed journal, because I wanted to further enhance the education of aromatherapists and expand their toolbox. And one of the things that I appreciate the most about my education at ACHS was it wasn't just the oils. It was about nutrition, it was about herbalism, it was about body care, it was patient first. We learned internal use, we learned topical use, and you also learn all the benefits of and the importance of vitamins and minerals and sunshine and rest and clean water. And I think there's a lot of people that kind of miss that in their practice. They're not offering a well-rounded solution to their clients. And so I really wanted to continue to push that whole, I don't want to say theory, but the whole paradigm of you treat the whole person with much more than just the oils. So the journal has been a vehicle to share more information about other integrative therapies and those other pieces that make you a well-rounded practitioner. and I want to beef up everybody's toolbox so that they can be, a really great practitioner as well.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful, and that's wonderful that you've kept that drive, that education is, extremely important, especially in a field like this. So that's really wonderful. It's a great story. So tell us a little more about the IJPHA and the goals of the journal.
Okay. The goals of the journal are to foster the education of the professional holistic aromatherapist. And each issue, I have one here, but each issue of the journal focuses typically on 2 essential oils that are not in the mainstream. Okay, because I want people to learn about other oils that are out there that are perhaps undervalued because they're not known. But we picked 2 oils that have a common chemical component between them. And so we look at the oils in profile, and then we look at the chemical component that's common. And so all the articles kind of build on each other, and then we support it with case studies using those oils or oils containing that particular chemical component. And then we support it with other articles using other oils in that realm, as well as articles on integrative therapies, because as an aromatherapist you can't do everything, so you need to know when to refer out. And when you refer out, you need to do that in an educated way. So we provide information about other therapies that maybe can enhance what you're doing, that you can work collaboratively with, as well as to give you enough information to start a dialogue with perhaps a dentist. We did an issue on aromatherapy and dentistry, and we put a sidebar in there with tips on how to start that conversation with a dentist to bring aromatherapy in. And then we look at carrier oils, we look at hydrolates, flower essences, again, all these things that we learned about at Australasian College to make it a full package. And then we wanted to support it with industry news, new research. We do book reviews, product reviews. So we try to stay on top of what's current, but each issue from start to finish, as it builds through, it's like a mini class. And I think that's what people enjoy the most. Aside from the fact that it's in print, you can hold it in your hand.
Yes, but you can also get it an electronic copy as well. Or
we aren't really doing electronic copies right now,
just the print.
but we will be, because right now we're in a number of universities. We're here at Bastyr as a reference in their library, and so as we're growing and getting more recognized, because we're in 17 countries now, I really want this to be in more libraries. And in talking to the librarian here today, she said everybody's going online. So we're looking at a digital format for the future that can be safe and protected.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a great publication. So we encourage everyone out there to subscribe and read the IJPHA. It's wonderful. And you tell us a little bit about your new book. You've just written a new book.
Yes, I have a new book. It's the Complete Aromatherapy and Essential Oils Handbook for Everyday Wellness. How this book kind of came about is it was originally, the book was originally written 24 years ago by an aromatherapist in Australia named Naris Prachand. And unfortunately, Naris passed away a couple years ago, and her estate wanted to republish the book. But the publishing company said, it's 24 years old, there's been a lot of advances, we need to thoroughly update it. And so they contacted me to update it. And what I did, my process with the book was to first go through it, and anything that we've now learned is a myth, has been taken out. Other statements that were left in had to be supported in some way through some scientific research, so I did a lot of PubMed research on it. And I expanded the essential oil section, so there's more oils discussed.
Great.
Newer oils that people are using in the last 10 years are now in the book. And in addition to that, there's little bits of research cited throughout, and safety information. For me,
very important.
When I'm working with a client, I formulate in my head what I want to do, but then I find myself just, kind of double checking. So I might go to 2 or 3 other books, and then I might say, I want to add a hydrosol to that, so then I go to a hydrosol book, and then I go to a carrier oil book, and then of course there's the safety book, just to make sure. And rather than going to all of those books, I wanted just one thing that had everything in it. A
holistic
approach. But But the nice thing about this book, it covers 109 essential oils. It has more than 450 recipes in it. I added a hydrosol section. I expanded the carrier oil section and included macerated oils and how to make your own infused oils. And there's tips throughout. But the nice thing is, I put in here, it was my Under the Tuscan Sun moment. Because when I first wanted to write a book, when they contacted me, I wanted something that my peers in my community would read and respect and appreciate. So I wanted something for the lay person through seasoned professionals. And this book, it does address things that the seasoned professional would appreciate because of the research and the safety data that's in it. But it's written more in a simpler terms for the lay person. And it uses common ingredients that you can find in the grocery store so that you don't have to do a lot of online searching and ordering. But when it was finished, I thought to myself, okay, this perhaps isn't the book I set out to write. And then I had a Post-it note on my computer that had a goal. And my goal was to write a book about using aromatherapy every day in some way for well-being, and that's what this is.
That's wonderful.
So it didn't come out in the form I originally thought it would, but it's exactly what I wanted.
That's great.
So, and I'm pleased.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful book, and you can find it on Amazon, so definitely we'll post that link for you. So definitely keep an eye out. What advice would you give to ACHS students who are interested in a similar career path to yours?
In general, my advice to students is to really have a focused plan and to schedule yourself so that you finish on time. And because I find that when you delay things, you kind of go off the path a little bit. But for me, it was a lot. I was just hungry for knowledge. So get as much as you can. I mean, make the most of the education you get at the American College, but then supplement it. Go to conferences, read additional books, keep current with the journals. You know, just stay on top of what's new. Learn how to read and decipher research and to write your own and do your own and get published and share. Just share what you're doing, because you find that when you do that, all these other opportunities will come to you. Because everything that I've done, I've kind of fallen into. One thing has led to another. So I can't say it's any one thing that I've done, but by trying to just embrace everything that's out there and trying to be one with it, it just kind of all came my way.
That's wonderful. That's really great advice. Okay, so last question. If you were stuck on a desert island, what one essential oil would you bring with you?
Okay. If I was stuck on a desert island, I would bring grapefruit. Grapefruit. Grapefruit.
That's a good choice.
Because, I mean, I have my go-to oils that, you know, I have for various things that I like to use them for, like that, or just for sleep. But if I was on a desert island, grapefruit just invokes happiness.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel good whatever your circumstances. So I think grapefruit is a good one to have all the time.
Wonderful. That's a good thing to keep in mind. The last resort oil, grapefruit. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching, and have a good day.